Okay, next we have City Council reports. We'll start with Councilmember Buckland.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Just very briefly, SACOG meeting that I attended, I was absent for one of our meetings, our Sabufka meeting last week, as I was returning from a short vacation down in San Diego, where I was looking at the walkability of the downtown area of San Diego. Actually, in 2 days, walked a little over 25 miles along with my wife. And, you know, the disappointing thing there is, as we really look at our community, and we have complaints about our community and our homeless condition here, I would ask you just to take a short trip and walk around some cities that are truly inundated with a homeless condition that is a true public health safety issue, where sidewalks have to be closed down, where they have to be sanitized because of the lack of restroom facilities or washing facilities within a community. Truly took it to heart as we walked around the downtown area of San Diego, looking at just what they didn't have available, and that was a lot of services. And that was the lack of police officers present on the street, not even making contact, no medical staff that I saw making contact, where other cities have done that, trying to reach out, especially when they have outbreaks of hepatitis A. There's so much lacking in that. The only police officers I saw out on foot were parking enforcement, and that's a sad statement for a very large city. And I'm not picking on San Diego specifically. It's just that there's very little being done, and the homeless are present. They are, most, I would tell you, are either currently under the influence of drugs when we would encounter them, or simply had a mental illness. And I'm proud of our community trying to come together with some efforts to try to reach out and help these individuals that we have. And again, the numbers we have are truly manageable, not at the scale that some of the large cities have, and just the overwhelming problems that they have with that. So I'll step back to the SACOG meeting. Attended the SACOG meeting. Part of this was to advance a two-tiered recommendation for funding through Senate Bill 1, which is I'm going to use the word gas tax. From those funds, Yuba City placed high on the second tier for the expansion of the Bridge Street project. We don't know that the California Transportation Commission will fully endorse that, but we will make every effort we can to continue to push at the CTC to see if we can't get into this funding round. We are competing against other areas, but there is a sizable amount of money for our region. So we're going to stay actively pursuing that. And the other conversations that I had was, if the Bridge Street corridor can't come into play with some of the SB1 money, that we advance the timeline at 99 and 20 as a Caltrans project with some of those funds for a two-level interchange at that location. So we'll continue to move forward with that, but good interaction with staff, and I think that it will provide as we provide direction, they're going to provide some feedback, and we can move forward with the process. That's all I have.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilmember Cardoza.
Okay. Had quite a few meetings the last couple of weeks. Attended the Regional Housing Authority meeting, the Yuba City Unified School District School Liaison meeting, Planning Commission meeting, and then the next three meetings I attended with Councilmember Cleveland, the Sutter Beach Flood Control Agency, Yuba City Transit Authority, and the Regional Waste Management meeting. For community events, I went down to State Capitol with Councilmember Cleveland and Vice Mayor Harris and attended the press conference for the one-year anniversary for AB 1270. This Saturday, I attended the 6th annual Bowl Over Diabetes fundraiser, Yuba Sutter Diabetes fundraiser. They had a great turnout. It was a fun time, and there were no chamber events the last couple of weeks, so got lucky there. Got to have some fun. Thank you. That's it for me.
Thank you. And we've got Councilmember Cleveland.
Thank you very much. Started off with going to the Sutter Yuba Mosquito Vector District, the one that kind of tries to keep mosquitoes away from you. And then just want to always remind people they can call them and ask them to spray their area, especially at any extra events you're going to have outside. And if you call soon enough, at least a week ahead, they'll schedule somebody come over there and knock down the amount of mosquitoes that would interrupt your event. Also there, we selected a company to do solar on some of their buildings. There were 3 that claimed to be local. Only one was a truly local. The others were from like kind of local, they claim. And we did end up using the local vendor. They came out to be the least expensive, only by a little bit. And not only that, though, they were providing a system that was much more maintainable, easier, in my opinion, to keep track of each individual panel. To where one panel would go, they would know exactly which one was going bad, rather than having all grouped onto one big reader, and you'd never find it unless you called somebody special out to come and try to find it. Well, this one here, within minutes you can have a phone call made to somebody to come out and take care of it. Let's see here. I went to, as I said, Sutter Butte Flood Control meeting. You saw the report. There was a lot of efforts going on there, a lot of expenditure of time and effort in Washington, D.C. to make sure that our area is remembered. We are well known throughout the United States for this project and its success and its innovative approaches to getting funding and developing the project itself. So we are being watched, so that is a couple of plus points for us to be provided more funding. Gil Sizer Drainage was canceled. I did attend the Yuba Center Transit. There's a lot of changes going on, or changes that we're going to be trying to do at Yuba Center Transit regarding coming into the 21st century on keeping track of buses, keeping track of the fundings that would come in. We already are going to a card instead of paying, and I mean that is working out very well. All over the world they're doing that, and so we're finally getting caught up. We're looking at a couple of changes perhaps in the locations of the busiest transit bus stops to take the grief away from the businesses of the people being there and make it a little nicer area for some of the businesses. So we're looking into some future changes that will definitely be of good changes. Then Regional Waste Management Authority, moving forward with just all the processes and providing waste services. And this week, actually, I went and visited my grandkids in Florida for a real quick visit. So I wasn't here this weekend to go to any of the weekend events. Other than that, looking forward to this next week.
Thank you. Now we have Vice Mayor Harris.
I too took advantage of the fact that Gil Sizer was canceled, as were a few of the other meetings that I normally attend, and was in town for a whopping one day of the last 14. Spent some time in Texas with my grandkids. During that one day, though, we, as was stated by Councilman Cardoza, I was honored to represent the city, speaking a little bit on the north steps of the Capitol in support of Assemblyman Gallagher and his and many other people's efforts to get AB 1270 on the governor's desk, which is going to be a very good piece of legislation where the most striking thing to me was dams were required to be inspected every now and then, literally in writing. Not anymore. It'll be annual, and some requirements and the details and the processes and procedures that are required to go through in order for it to officially count as an inspection have been refined tremendously well, in my opinion. And let's hope that we see some positive results. It can only be a good thing. So, again, as stated, I applaud their efforts, and I'm looking forward to some good things out of that, some positive change coming from that very close call we had as a community. And it was literally on the 1-year anniversary of the wonderful evacuation that I'll never forget. Also, some talk, it'll be in a couple weeks, but with Beale Military Liaison folks that I'm involved with, we're planning a trip to San Antonio to get a quick whirlwind tour of the base out there and some details on the Air Force and the Air Force's mission, and we're able to get actually witness a graduation of the graduating, I guess they call it boot camp in the Air Force class.
Nice.
And rumor has it I may take advantage of being in Texas and go see my grandkids while I'm there too, so we'll see. But other than that, we're good. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I guess we were all away pretty much these last 2 weeks. I from the last city council meeting, took off to Torde, Japan, and just returned yesterday. So I'm a little jet lagged and getting over a cold. Yeah. But the trip was absolutely phenomenal. We had 16 students with us from here. We had our Yuba City Unified School District representatives with us as well, and talk about cultural and traditional experiences and living with host families there, their everyday life. The students attend school there. We actually attended school for a day to see how they hold their classes, and we were absolutely fascinated by some of the classes they actually take, and some of the things that the students do. Torde was absolutely phenomenal in the sense, not only just the generosity, but the cleanliness of the entire city and the schools. The campuses were shiny, including the bathrooms. So imagine little kids and walking on campus and everything is absolutely shiny, pristine. And what we learned, is it's not janitorial work that's taking care of the campuses. It's actually the students themselves. So after their lunch period, the students actually have a cleaning session, and they are cleaning the urinals, the toilets, the floors. And it's something that they do all together. We saw pictures. They're laughing. They're having a good time. They actually take ownership of their school, which is absolutely phenomenal. Something else that we witnessed was in the morning as we're driving by, there was a elementary school, and there were a line of kids walking, and so they all walk to school or bike to school. They're walking, and we get to the gates of the school, and there's 2 of the school, teachers or from the campus, but they were greeting every single student as they came to the gate. And it was acknowledging every single student that you're worthy. You are someone. And they're literally saying hello to each and every single one, which was fascinating because there were a lot of students. The other part was that they, in the later part, and they do this during their entire school years, is there's coursework on mannerisms. Just saying thank you and being polite and just being a part of their everyday life, which was just absolutely fascinating because we see some of the trends that we see just here, and we were just fascinated by the generosity, the from kids to elders, just absolutely just the polite mannerisms of everyone. they opened their homes and catered to us and welcomed us to everything. Terrell and we were in the same home, and our host was giving us coffee and tea in our rooms in the morning. So we came back a little spoiled. So now we're wondering, okay, where's our coffee? Where's our tea? But just the culture. We got to wear the kimonos. We went to some events, and that was absolutely wonderful. We also had a special meeting held by the council, or assembly is what they call it, and talk about women concerns and women civic engagement, and how do we do it here versus how they do it there. So we learned a lot. At the same time, we were able to engage in a very in-depth conversation to share our experiences and how we can engage women more in the conversation and be more at the table under policy and decision making. So fascinating trip, and I look forward to seeing other students join during this program in the future too. So it's a great program. But anyway, that's what I did. So we're back and recovering. So with that, if there's not anything else, we will adjourn the meeting at 7:30 tonight.